Sirhan from Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City, writes to me, "Hey, Paul, I love my power plant regenerator. I wonder why so many people on the internet say bad things about it." I'm paraphrasing a little bit here because Sirhan's writing is not the best. Anyway, and I just love what it does, but I wonder why people don't like it. Can you please help me understand? Okay, that's a tough one. You know, people are opinionated, thank goodness, and I would love to say, but I'm above all of that. Nah, I'm about as opinionated as they get. So we have people who buy power plants. Now, just so you know, a power plant is what we call an AC regenerator, okay? And what does that do? An AC regenerator takes the power out of the wall, converts it to DC, because what's coming out of the wall is AC, converts it to DC, and then we regenerate new AC with lower output impedance, and we regulate it. Why does that matter? Well, it matters for a couple of reasons, but one of the reasons that it doesn't matter so much is noise. So let's be clear. Most power conditioners, in fact, all power conditioners, part of their shtick is cleaning up the junk on the AC. You've got radio waves on here, you've got noise and all of that. And how much does that really matter when it comes to what we hear in our equipment? Well, what we have come to find out is not much. That cleaning that power stations do, that the power plant does as well in a different frequency band, but doesn't seem to matter a whole bunch. In fact, depending on how it's done, a lot of power conditioners kind of soften the sound, lose dynamics. Does it sound cleaner? Yes, but it's at a cost. What is it you really want in AC? And I think this is where a lot of people kind of get turned around, if that's a good way to look at it. Because what you really want is regulated power. Low impedance, regulated power. What we have found over the years is that makes a huge difference, okay? So don't worry about the cleaning of the power. Get it to where it is dynamically regulated. We first discovered all of this years ago when Stan and I were first starting the company out. We discovered that oversized power transformers made a tremendous sonic improvement versus little tiny power transformers. So here's a, what is this? This is a power plant, but let's say this one is, if we had, oh here, let's pick this one. This is a preamp, okay? So in a preamplifier, it doesn't draw a lot of current and doesn't take a lot of power to run it. So you could, without starving it or anything else, use a very small little transformer to power it. And most preamplifiers have little small transformers. Why? Well, because they're built by engineers. And engineers do whatever it takes to make it work and not a lot more, right? That's just typical engineering practice. Most of them don't know or don't agree or I don't know, whatever, but they don't understand that simply changing the size of the power transformer from what is necessary in here to something that is unnecessarily large makes a hugely noticeable improvement in sound quality. Now, there's a number of reasons for that. The wires get heavier, the impedance goes down, the DC resistance goes down, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but that was our start, and everything that we make has oversized transformers for that very reason, okay? As we developed the company, we started realizing, if that's true, what would happen if, we're guessing now, impedance of the power transformer really makes that much of a difference? What would happen if we lowered it by a magnitude or several magnitudes? We tried it and it's like, Oh my gosh, that is it. So how do you lower impedance to feed these transformers, whether big or small? You regulate it. Because impedance is a measure of, if I draw current, does it dip or change? And in a power plant, it won't. You can draw all the power you want instantaneously, and it sits right there. And that means it has extremely low impedance. And the last thing I'll say about it is when we developed these, we realized I can't take somebody else's equipment and change the size of the power transformer or add more power supply capacitors. Can't do it, right? You don't want me inside of your thing. So can we do it from the outside? Absolutely. So in answer to your question, I think the reason most people, I mean, we have 20,000 power plants around the world, 15, I don't know, a lot of power plants around the world, and people love them. The people who criticize them, I think, are believing that it does one thing when really it does something else. And if they understood that and listened to it with that in mind, they would come up with a very different conclusion. Anyway, that's best I got. Okay. Thanks for the question. Take it easy.